Hello. Hello. Yeah, I'm not sure what it entails yet, but yes, that did happen today. So I've been working on that. Been working on that for a couple hours now, and I just had to wait for a response from them. But yeah, there it is. It's kind of a big ask for anybody to buy a computer off there, but it's there. Apparently, they might. This isn't confirmed yet, but they might get me a graphics card. I sent them a message telling them that I already have a pretty decent computer. I could use a 30 series graphics card, so I hope that will happen. That is not confirmed yet. I haven't heard back from them. Hopefully they get back to me in the morning or sometime later tomorrow. But if that did happen, that would be the best damn thing, because we all know those are impossible to get right now.
I don't need weapons. I am the weapon.
I would assume that that's probably less of a big ask than needing a whole computer, which I don't. Okay, we gotta turn that off. Hold on. Loaded bosses. Let's try that again. Figured I'd try rando. Yeah. It just came out earlier today, but I haven't had time to mess with it until now.
I live to fight.
Just working on the sponsorship stuff and getting all the things set up. I don't know how to turn off the playable characters.
I live to fight.
Someone sent a donation. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the 20 bucks. It's very nice of you. Yeah, he can put them in. This is kind of weird, though. It's only spawning the, It's only spawning the rider kick girls. I probably wouldn't play the whole game like this, because it would get really tiresome. But this would be fun for, like, be fun for other stuff. I don't like this seed. How do I change that? I've never used this before, so I'm kind of learning as I go. Yeah, you could. This would make the game a lot longer, I think. And it's already a little bit too long for me, so we'll probably do like single level runs with this just for fun. Spice the game up a bit. So I've played this for over 100 hours.
I don't need weapons. I am the weapon.
I'm not sure why it's doing that. I told it to ignore bosses and it's not doing it. It's weird. Maybe if I turn this off, it won't do that. Let's try it again. It's not like the bosses are challenging. It's just make the game way longer. I'm just looking to spice it up a bit, not make the game an hour longer.
I don't need weapons.
So this is already
the weapon.
a pretty lengthy game for a beat 'em up. Over an hour on average. For the average person, it's not like a speedrunner. Yeah, I don't understand how this works. So I'm gonna mess with this later. But I'm gonna put this on my faster hard drive though. See if it helps with load times. It's good. It's gonna get boring watching me do this over and over. Let's give it a couple minutes here. I'll have to. I actually know the person who made that. He comes into my stream sometimes, so I'm sure he'll help me with it later. But he's over in the Philippines, so I don't know what time it is over there. I know when he normally streams, It's like 4 a.m. for him, but that's like early morning for me. I'll ask him about that later. I'm not gonna mess with that anymore tonight. It's possible it might have like some bug or something that's causing it to do that.
I don't need weapons.
I
I
don't quite
am
understand the
the weapon.
settings. Luck in the service game's been good lately? No. No. I spent 20 on Pinnacle of Combat today and got nothing. Which is not the reason why I'm down right now. Just because I just didn't make much off the channel this month. And I really don't have that much funds left for the month. I'm trying to raise a little bit, so I'm not going to be so damn stressed, because obviously I've had a lot of stress in my life lately. Angel dying and other things. The neighbor, I don't think you guys understand, but, you know, I work at my neighbor's house every day, but, you know, she lives on a fixed income, too. She has less disposable income than I do, because she has to buy all the cat food and stuff, and she has other expenses. So, they can't pay me that often, and it's pretty small amounts. You know, some people probably come in here, it's like, why does this guy need funds? And he's working 2 jobs every day with no breaks. And it's like, well, the answer is neither of the jobs generate that much revenue. I love doing them, you know, I get by, but it can be pretty tight at times. But that kind of thing is common with, you know, animal caretaking. It's not like not a very lucrative field. Financially, it's not lucrative. Mentally, it is. I really enjoy doing it. The cats all love me. It's fun to just hang out with them. If I don't want to talk with people, I can just go over there and chill with them and stuff. That part is great. It's just financially, it's not very profitable. They need me over there every day. I have to be over there every day. My neighbor's pretty much incapacitated. She can't really do a lot of physical activity without intense pain. I'm sure you can imagine feeding like 20 cats can be pretty taxing physically. Going all around the house, it's a lot of bending down and sometimes lifting the cats as well, especially Buddy. Lately he's been getting in front of interfering with my workspace. He gets up there and he won't get down. But yeah, it's definitely a unique situation. I work really hard at your job, but neither of them really make that much. I do 2 things I love every day with no breaks, but neither of them generate as much income as they should. As hard as it is, and I hate asking for help, but they are things I enjoy. I know that's better than a lot of people. I don't feel like I set an example for people to do what you like, because I struggle so much, but there definitely is some value to it. I like going over there every day. It's hard sometimes, but I have fun. There's much worse things, more stressful things I could be doing. I'd make more money, but money isn't everything. I like doing this every day. I like doing the cats every day. I've learned a lot of discipline from doing this every day, and I'm really grateful for that, even though financially it's stressful. Lots of discipline and various non-gaming things in my life I've really gotten better at doing. Let's switch to PGR. Switch to that. Main thing I wanted to do today was the rando, but I'm having problems getting it to work. So we'll see. My luck in the service games has been terrible. One good thing I've gotten the two service games I play is I got a dupe with the katana for alpha for free. I didn't spend any money on that. That's basically it. Yeah, just that one thing. I had to go all the way to pity for alpha, so you can't even call that good luck, because I basically got the worst possible luck. The only thing that was good about that is that I got a lot of the other characters buffed up in the process. Which is a nice thing about this game, is there's not like 500 characters like KOF All-Star had, so generally any character dupe you get is going to be pretty impactful. So this game is not about having like the usual gacha game stuff where you have like 300 characters and like 50 of them are useful. That's definitely how it is in KOF All Star. I think there's like over 300 characters in that game, but pretty much only the fest characters are relevant. And in the pool of fest characters, even some of them are no longer relevant. They've been power crept pretty hard. In this game, it's like there's less characters, but it's more impactful. Like you don't get a whole like massive swarm of characters, but you do get a lot more out of having one upgraded. One of the reasons I quit KOF is because so many of the characters are relevant, including some characters I really invested time into. They just, it power crept them really hard, and I just got tired of it. But that's a very common complaint with that game, is how they're running it. And they put out those busted characters like every month too, so... Which doesn't sound bad on paper, but when you realize that the free rubies you can get, which is the game's currency, the free rubies you can get can't possibly keep up with all that. What broke it for me was the fact that those Dead or Alive characters, I don't really like Dead or Alive that much in the first place, so I wouldn't have spent any money on them anyway. But what bothers me about it is they intentionally made it so that you can't, they're not collab characters, meaning that you can't use the generic, the invitations on them. That was the point of collaborations before, is they were very accessible characters. You only had to get them once. You could use resources from your other characters to max them out and everything. But with this one, they decided to be real hard asses and they took that out. That's why I quit, because I know they're going to keep doing that. I mean, they're scantily clad, you know, DOA characters wearing barely anything. I'm sure they're making a killing off it, but not going to work on me. They're not even that great either, which just makes it worse. Nowhere near as busted as the other characters. I'm all for a character being, like, just fun to play. You know, they don't have to be, like, the best thing ever. But if you're gonna make it so that people have to spend money to even remotely get them maxed out, then, yeah, they should be good. Hello, James. I know as soon as they end the Dead or Alive collaboration, they're just gonna put out more characters like that. They've been doing it every month for like most of this year, actually. I just uninstalled the game. I quit cold turkey. As I've said before, I don't get addicted to the game like to that point. I will quit for any and every reason if I don't like the game or what they're doing. Actually, I know several people who actually quit because of the Dead or Alive collaboration. I don't know, they make some boneheaded decisions with KOF All-Star. They seem to think that people have infinite money. It's like, yes, whales will spend a lot on a character they like. Yes, that's true, but, you know, even whales have a limit to how much disposable income they have. KOF, it's like, let's just put out busted characters every month with no break. Which doesn't sound that bad until you realize that it is effectively forcing you to spend money. It's not possible for a free player to generate that much rubies. You have to save up. Without spending any money, you would have to save up for like a couple months. Which wouldn't be bad if it was like some of these other games, like this game. Like this game, you know, they don't add characters all the time. They have a pretty modestly sized roster, so you have time to save up and you can get them pity. A lot of people got the alpha for free. They got alpha for free because they just saved up. Yeah, there was a tweet from some person, and it was like said like it was a thumbnail of somebody saying you know, the newest NBA looks exactly like the last one, and the tweet was like, they finally get it. It only took it only took them like 25 years to notice that it's the same game you're buying every year. It's the exact same game. Yeah, they did. I'm sure some of them probably spent some money. I mean, someone just bought a copy of Mario Brothers 1 for like $2 million. Someone just bought a copy of Mario Brothers 1 for $200. Keep in mind, even with all the crackdowns that Nintendo's done, that's one of the easiest ROMs to get. You know, getting stuff for like modern consoles is really hard, and not really something you should ever have to do because those games are on sale all the time. That's like the easiest game to get. Also, not only that, it's available for free on the Switch if you paid for their online service. Someone paid $2 million for one. I think it was like last week, actually, very recently. And never underestimate how stupid people can be. Like, it's not that far-fetched that people will buy the same Madden game every year when somebody just spent like $2 million on Mario Brothers 1, which is like not even a rare game. I mean, they made like millions of copies of that game. Sports games are more interesting when they didn't have them. When they didn't have the sports games, there was like actually interesting stuff going on with sports games, like NBA Jam and stuff. Arcade sports have like pretty much died because of EA. Now all that comes out is just the same game every year. Yeah, we're gonna reset this. Yeah, people can be really stupid with game purchases. Why would you pay $2 million for Mario Brothers 1? Like, dude. Actually, I think it was proven that the ROM that they used for Nintendo Switch Online Mario Brothers, they downloaded it off the internet. I don't know if that's true or not, but it wouldn't surprise me. That's pretty grounded in reality, I'm sure. Other companies have done that. I think with the Capcom arcade cabinet that just came out, they used some of the code from MAME without telling the people who did it. I hadn't even heard anything about Space Jam 2. I don't really watch movies. Video games and streams are like my preferred media. I like reading things online too, but movies I never been that interested. Definitely played more games than watching movies as a kid. Movies and TV have been pretty bad lately. That's why all those companies are desperate to get people my age to pay for cable.
Oh. おい、ミッション完了。なんともないさ。
Still in shock someone bought Mario Brothers 1 for $2 million. If you think you're bad with your money,
いい腕
I
を
think
す
you
る
spend irresponsibly on games and stuff. Boy, I have news for you.
今回もよかっ
That's
た
like one of the most
今
common
度はもっと綿密な作戦を
non-sports
立てよう
games out there. They made millions of those. Keep in mind, back then the NES actually did come with Mario Brothers, so pretty much during the boom of the NES, you know, every one of those that was every NES that was manufactured had a copy of Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. Like, why would you spend that much money on that? I mean, you could like literally complete like a game collection of like other consoles like that. Especially like modern consoles where there's not as many games that are physical anymore. And most of them you could get for dirt cheap. You could have like every PS4 game for that money. That's been proven that a lot of the emulator, the old game collections, the companies just download the ROMs off the internet. So if you ever feel like there's a moral issue with downloading ROMs, there's your reason to not care. Like, these companies don't even have like the ROMs themselves. They can't even dump them themselves. They have to download them off the internet. That's happened numerous times, by the way. Countless times. Should really only buy those collections if they put a significant amount of effort into them, like the Mega Man Zero ZX collection. That's worth the money for a number of reasons. The first is that, you know, a good chunk of the games are on DS. It's really hard to capture off those, even if you did buy them legally. And also, they went the extra mile with that port. They did a better job than the X collection. The X collection is like not that much better than just downloading the ROMs, because the input lag is really bad, especially on like Switch and stuff. The input lag is terrible. It makes playing the original trilogy really bad because there's so much input lag. But with the Zero ZX collection, they actually did. I guess they had access to the source code, so it has no input lag, and they put like everything in there, all the content, even the e-reader stuff. Nobody really used the e-reader stuff, but they have that in there. That's worth the money. There was a significant amount of effort put into that. They didn't just download a ROM off the internet and dump it in an interface. Like, they actually put some significant effort into that. That's the kind of thing you need to support. But when they just regurgitate something that's, you know, they just downloaded off the internet, I don't think they're gonna hurt that much. The problem is that they always blame people for not buying them. I think it does, yeah. That port has everything. Those games, that's a An excellent port. I bought that game twice. I bought the Switch one physical, and then I bought the PC one for mods. That is worth the money, especially if it's anything that like M2 does. M2 does a lot for game preservation. Yeah, people get a little bit too paranoid with downloading ROMs. It's like, well, if they don't make it available, then the game just still deserves to be remembered. The game should not just disappear because, you know, they don't bother to make it available. There's a pitiful amount of games that actually get re-released. A very small fraction of them. Alright, so what does this character use? This might be a better support. What's up, bro? Hey, which one am I supposed to use? Hey, thank you. Yeah. I don't know exactly what it's going to entail yet, but it's a good thing either way, and I'm glad I finally got noticed by somebody after busting my ass for all these years. It's a good feeling. So I have never been sponsored for anything at all. never really had any kind of opportunity. We'll see what it entails. I'll make a video about it when I have more information. I'm officially in it, I just don't know exactly what compensation I get, so... hopefully later today I'll make a video about that. I'm kind of waiting to hear back first.
弱い。弱い。
諦めた方が賢明です。今回も完璧な車線でした。
Let me get you guys the link. I need to post my links. I spent a lot of time on this today. I didn't finish because I had kitty sitting. But here's the tweet. So all the information is there, and then I'm really low on cash right now, so if people want to hook me up, be greatly appreciated. I work 2 jobs, but neither of them generate much money, so there you go. All the information is there.
今回も完璧な車線でした。
全力を尽くします。
Pretty big ask to ask somebody to buy a computer, but I make some, I get some commission off that.
弱い。
ご命令を。諦めた方が賢明です。やるな。
目標補足。
今回も完璧な車線でした。
It's actually a pretty good sponsor for me because they got a lot of people that come in and they don't know how to start with PC gaming. It's actually a really nice site. I've actually been on there before. I've been sponsored, and they give you pre-built computers, but you can choose what's in them, and you can also choose to not buy things. You have to, like for me, if I wanted a new computer on there, I wouldn't pay for a processor because I have one of the best processors for gaming. So I could just choose to not get a processor. They have some pretty affordable builds on there, and especially right now, if you want to get into PC gaming, pre-built's the best way to go because they have way more access to the new graphics cards, and you get a pretty good deal on them as well. So they build it, yes, and you choose what goes into it. No different than like going to Subway or ordering a pizza. Just the exact same thing as like
諦め
ordering
た
a
方が
pizza
賢
or
明です
ordering a sandwich or something at
目
McDonald's.
標補足
You tell them exactly what you want into it, and then they build
今
it,
回も
and
完
then
璧な河川でした
it gets sent to you. Normally, pre-built wasn't really that popular until the pandemic started. Now it's actually a legit easier way to get into PC gaming or content creation or both. Yeah, it's actually a legit good site. And it's a good fit for me because I game
ご命令を
almost exclusively on the PC.
弱
A lot of people want to get into this stuff, and it's just balls hard right now.
私の力はど
The
う
graphics cards, I hear graphics card they're starting to get closer to MSRP, but it's probably not going to be that way completely for a while. I follow somebody on Twitch who I guess his computer was like falling apart, and he actually got it pre-built,
私も行きます
and it was a hell of a lot easier than
それは
trying
隠
to
れ
get
て
the
るつもりで
parts
した
separately. I'll make a video about it exactly once I know
今回も完璧な河川でした
exactly what my compensation is going to be. So hopefully I can do that before I go to kitty sitting. It's a little bit hectic today. They contacted me about this on Friday, and then they don't work on weekends. So I didn't hear anything about it yesterday, and then they finally got back to me while I was over with the cats. There's still some details I don't know, but I am officially in there, so figure out the rest later.
遅い
それは隠れているつもりですかそれは隠れているつもりで諦めた方が賢明
私も行きます
今回も完璧な河川でした
遅い
ご命令を
And I've never wanted to take a sponsor for something I wouldn't use myself. I've never really gotten any opportunities in the first place, but
私も行きます
you're not gonna find like Raid Shadow Legends on here or anything.
私の力はどう存分に楽しむ
You're not gonna see this stream inundated with Raid Shadow Legends ads. I only wanted to do it because it's actually something that's really relevant for me and for you guys. Because most people that watch me game on console. And right now it's really hard to build a PC. Pre-built is actually a very viable way to
私も行きます
get a computer with good parts right now.
諦めた方が賢明です
目標補足
I mean, I don't watch when people I follow play Raid Shadow Legends because I just don't care about that game. It's barely even a video game. It has like no gameplay. And I've never wanted to do something like that, but something I would actually use myself. I'm sure, why not?
深淵に飲み込まれる
ご命令を
弱い私の力はどう
Yeah,
存
yeah.
分に楽しむわ。
That barely defines as a video game in my opinion. It's like the bare minimum of what a video game is by definition. You know, you have graphics and you control the characters, but barely.
遅い。弱い。
But like the lightest, most lax definition it is a video game, but
諦めた方が
compared to something like this, which is, you know, console quality,
目標補足。私も行きます。
I'm actually playing a video game right now.
今回も完璧な初戦でした。
No, I don't fault people for taking those offers. It's good money. They do actually pay people. They're not completely scummy. They do pay you for playing those games and stuff, but I've just never believed in promoting shit that I wouldn't use myself. I'm not about that. You know, if I got paid to play like Dynasty Warriors or something, or like Basara or this, it's like sure, you know, I already like this game. I already play it anyway. If they approached me and they sponsored me to play it, it's like sure, I actually legitimately like this game. I mean, I've been playing it every day for about a month now, and I don't get paid shit to play this. That kind of thing, you know, I'll take a sponsorship for that, but not just random stuff that I would never be caught dead using. The demographic for Fortnite is mostly kids. It's like predominantly kids. It's almost completely kids. Which is both a good and a bad thing for people streaming that, because yes, you have like thousands of people watching, but most of them are kids and they can't really support you financially. I think it can actually be a little bit more feasible to play stuff like this, where the demographic is like millennials with disposable income, whereas Fortnite it's mostly a kids game. And Fortnite also has like all the collaborations and stuff, so the kids will spend money on that because it's easier than trying to get your parents to buy a game. We all knew how hard that was when we were kids. Now it's like the parents will just buy them V-Bucks so that they can get stuff in there, which is actually pretty cool when you think about it. But I'm not sure how many of those viewers they get for like Fortnite streams, the big streamers. How many of them are actual, like, adults? Because that's it's a big thing about doing this kind of stuff. How many adults can you get to watch? Because that's where your support's going to come from. Can't really harvest a lot of money out of kids. Well, that's because parents don't take care of their kids anymore. They just plop them in front of Twitch and they don't even bother to look at what they're watching. Kids could be watching somebody swear constantly, or they could be watching them play like M-rated games. Could be watching those hot tub streams. Yeah, Twitch is it's a mess. It really is. It's a lot of effort for potentially no payoff, and I talked about this on my last stream, but people don't they don't try to get into this stuff smartly, or wisely. They drop like thousands, and then they get all defeated when they don't make money. And it's like, well, it's mostly luck. It really is mostly luck. A lot of this stuff is. It doesn't matter how good your content is. I mean, if it wasn't luck, then everybody who puts up badass Call of Duty and Fortnite frag montages would be rich. But there's millions of people doing that, and there's no barrier of entry anymore. So yes, there is a chance that you could rise to the top by doing that kind of thing, but just by law of probability, you have shit odds. That's why I don't put more effort into my videos than I have to. You can definitely tell, like, I put tons of effort into my videos, but I don't do more than I have to. I don't overexert myself because I've done that in the past and it hasn't always paid off. It's not always necessary, especially for the kinds of games I play. People are looking for any information on the stuff that I play because the big channels don't touch it, or they get paid to play it and then they never play it again and they suck at the game, and they don't really provide the resources that the community needs. I can meticulously edit every video I put on here, but is the viewership going to get much better? Probably not. It would be an exponential amount of extra stuff in my workload for very little, very little payoff. That's one thing I realized very early on is I can get by without working myself to death. Yeah, it's a problem on Twitch too. Is people donate when they don't have money, which is not a good thing to do. Should not do that. I don't want anybody. I don't want anybody doing that to me too. I definitely do rely on donations to keep the channel running during times like now when I don't make much, but I don't want anybody doing that. There's lots of stories of people like dumping their credit cards on people, maxing out their credit cards on big streamers and stuff, and it's like they probably don't remember your name, and you shouldn't compromise your ability to survive to try to get the attention of somebody on Twitch. And if you're going to donate to anybody at all, you should donate to people who actually need it. Go drop gift subs in an affiliates channel or something. That can be like a game changing thing for them. Even if you only spend like do like 5 gift subs, which is like $25. That's huge for an affiliate, and they definitely will remember your name. And when you do that in somebody's stream who already has thousands and it's already making thousands and their chat is going so fast they can't even see who donated, then yeah, that's not a very wise thing to do. People can do whatever they want with their money, but there's definitely more responsible things you can do with it. It's a shame that people who need the support don't always get it. It's definitely really cool when somebody goes into like an affiliate stream and they drop a bunch of gift subs, which is it's huge. It's huge to do that for an affiliate because that means that they'll reach the payment threshold. Seeing if I can get something with that $20 donation. Let me let's do some dumpster diving. Let's do some dumpster diving. See if there's anything on here. I already got all the best in slot gear for Alpha on PGR, so I'm not really interested in spending money on that right now. Got a $20 donation, so maybe there's something in here I can get for cheap. I'll wait till this gets controller support. That looks like something I might like. I don't know if you guys saw, but there's been some drama in the Tails community because they put out footage of a boss earlier today in the morning, and apparently the bosses have permanent hyper armor, which I don't need to explain why that's stupid. But yeah, they have permanent hyper armor, so I'm really on the fence if I'm even going to buy this game at this point. I was cautiously optimistic towards it. I didn't really like all the changes they were making, but I've tried every Tales game. I played them all pretty much. and I've really only dropped a couple, but it looks like the boss fights in this are real shit because you can't combo them. There's no hit stun whatsoever. They're in hyper armor the entire time, and they have these big ass health bars. I don't know what they're thinking. It looks like even on like regular enemies, the hit stun is not consistent. There's actually a really good thread about why this is a bad thing, and I'm actually going to show you guys. I'm going to show you guys how bad it is. Just give me a second here. I got to set it up. Let's see. Alright, give me a second. Gotta make a new smart selection. So I know I'm gonna get asked about this eventually, so hold on. And my DM's visible, I gotta turn that off. Alright, so we're gonna watch this video, and then I'll expand the rest of his thread. No armor at all. I mean, nothing but armor. This is the third boss they've shown like this too. And look at how easy this is. It's no effort at all. He has really slow, easily reactable attacks. But it's boring because none of the move properties matter. It's giving me KOF All-Star PTSD. This looks so stupid. What is this shit, man? This looks like something out of like World of Warcraft. Look at this. Imana. This looks dreadful. Yup, your Mao Engeki Ha didn't do anything. He's just casually having a hangover. Yeah. So let's go back to that thread. Hey, remember that thread I made a week ago? Well, some new Tales of Arise footage has helpfully demonstrated what happens if you don't do stuff like this. So here we have a boss that takes no hit stun from your attacks, has a number of attacks that are all slow and easily reactable in a game where you can cancel attacks into dodges freely. Dodges are invincible and are safe if you perform them properly. This is therefore an incredibly repetitive fight. Hit the guy, dodge when he does the big obvious move, repeat. The only break in this rhythm is some sort of QT, which leaves the boss helpless. In my opinion, this is bare minimum action combat. Nothing unique, nothing interesting. Now, this is not a full judgment on the game, as obviously it's not out yet. I'm just criticizing this fight, which looks very dull, not to mention unoriginal mechanically, a far cry from the more unique 2D fighter-inspired combat of the Tales series past. Also, bosses not taking regular hit stun isn't inherently bad, as it's a component of many legendary action games, but as many Tales games have allowed you to do extended combos on bosses and rewarded you for pushing the systems to their limits, this feels like a huge step backwards. Agreed. Well, they've already shown 3 bosses at this point, and they're all like that. All of them. All of them are like that. I think it's very easy to pass judgment. You don't see a lot of dislikes because people don't fucking learn how to play Tales games. They just button mash, or they say that they like that the enemies don't stagger, and they say that doing the combos is cheap, which is hilarious because I don't know if you guys ever saw high level Zelia 1 gameplay, but high level Zelia 1 gameplay was easier than learning the combo system. Learning the combo system was way harder. In Zelia 1, you played Jude and you did the snap pivot, which was like a just dodge. You teleport behind them and he would just spam Pulse Strike or Soteha. He would just spam that over and over because it did more damage than anything else. And then he would hit them like 7 to 8 times, and then they would do their tech. And he'd go behind them again and do that. He could beat the entire game doing that. There was never any reason to deviate from that. And that was a hell of a lot easier than actually learning the combo system. The problem with Tails is they try to balance people, quote unquote, breaking it with long ass combos and stuff, but every time that they do that, it's always easier to just break the game another way. We've been down this road countless times. Zelia 1 was the worst. Keep in mind, the speed run for Zelia 1, they just spam Fireball the entire game. They spam Fireball the entire game because what it does is the boss tries to tech out because they're being spammed with Fireballs, but their burst animation won't hit Rowan, who's all the way in the back of the instance. So they just stand there and they just get killed, and that is way easier than actually dodging the attacks and learning how to do combos. Yeah, but the problem is that does not actually make them stagger. It puts them down on the ground, which renders all the properties on the moves useless. None of it means anything. What's the point of having aerial moves if they're not going to react? They actually don't go up with you. It's a mess. It's highly implausible that the game's going to have any consistent stagger, because they've shown 3 bosses like that already, and they're all like that. I would love to be proven wrong. I would love to just actually enjoy playing that game and actually having the combo system matter, but it really does seem like they all just have permanent hyper armor, which is dumb. If I wanted to play a tab target MMO with bosses with gimmicks that don't stagger to anything, then I have countless options to do that. Whereas if I want to play a game like Tales, all there is Tales, and that's the problem. Everybody else is still doing turn-based. Dragon Quest, Persona, they're all just still doing turn-based. There's no replacement for Tales at all. Nobody else really even tries. No, it's a real bummer when a Tales game makes stupid decisions like that, because you don't really have an alternative. Muso is kind of going through the same thing right now, too. There's, no one really making Muso besides Koei, and the last couple games they put out have not been very good. It's one thing if it's like a first-person shooter you don't like. If you don't like Call of Duty, you don't like Valorant, if you don't like those games, then you have plenty of other options. They're less popular, but they may be more up your alley. With Muso and Tales, you have no options. There's no competition, so it stings a lot more than a lot of other more popular genres where, yes, the most players are going to be on the most popular games, Call of Duty, Fortnite, Valorant, League of Legends and stuff, but there's still other games that you can play. You're not completely shackled to whatever the most popular option is, but with Muso games and Tales games are real-time RPGs, you have shit options. You have basically anything. And that's why it's a problem. The Call of Duty community has endured numerous shitty installments, but they have other games to play. There's Titanfall 2, there's Valorant, there's all kinds of stuff to play. If you don't like whatever the annual Call of Duty is, there's other games to play. But with a lot of the genres I play, you have very few options, so it can be very impactful when they screw up like that, because people don't really make a lot of those kinds of games in the first place. That's why it bothers me when people defend it. It's like, okay, you just want the games to be mediocre, and there's no other option. There's nothing else to really play. There's no competition if that's the kind of game you want. And people do the same thing with Samurai Warriors 5. Like, oh, the clones don't bother me. It's like, okay, well, that basically means you're accepting mediocrity. You want the games to be average at best, or more commonly below average, compared to things we've gotten from the same developers in the past. It doesn't matter if you don't care about the clones. It matters that you guys are dismissing anybody who calls them out for them. That's not what you should be doing. You should stop settling for less. It's one thing if it's a more popular genre where there's like multiple studios making those kinds of games, like the genres I mentioned, first person shooters, battle royales, MOBAs and stuff. Sure, some of those games, some of those other competing games, they don't have as many people playing, but you at least have that option if you don't like what the most popular games are offering. But with stuff like this, most of the genres I play on this channel, you have a very small selection of games to choose from. And it really pisses me off that even today, people have been like, oh, I don't mind that they don't stagger. It's like, okay, well, why don't you just go play a tab target MMO? Because from what they've shown, it's really not that much different from that. Obviously, you have more control over the character and you can actually dodge the attacks, but the boss fights they've shown, they have more in common with a raid boss in like a tab target game. And that's what really bothers me about it. I'm tired of people defending stupid design decisions and saying that it's okay. It's like, okay, well, you're telling them that they can give you a half-finished product that's poorly designed and has like half of the content that the previous game did. Stop doing that. Plain and simple. Don't do that. It's okay if you enjoyed the game. I mean, nobody can really gatekeep you enjoying the game, but you can't honestly say that the decisions that they made with stuff like Samurai Warriors 5 are okay, because they're not. It's not okay to have like 20 clones in the game. And it's also not okay that the 15 movesets that they have, most of them are not even very good, or they're just not interesting to play. There's incredible favoritism in Samurai Warriors 5. Both of Nobunaga's movesets, Mitsuhide, the Katana moveset, the Ninjato, those are the most fun movesets to use. Everything else feels way worse. It feels very unpolished, and they don't really have any interesting mechanics or gimmicks to them at all. I don't know. Sometimes I get tired of the gaming community. You can't just keep accepting mediocrity, because that's all you're going to get. You're going to send them the message that they don't actually need to make a complete product anymore. And they can give you something that's buggy, broken, half done, and they don't need to put in that effort anymore. That's the kind of message you send when you say stuff like that, and it just annoys me. I've seen a lot of it today. I've seen a lot of discourse over it today, and it just pisses me off. It's like, if you want bosses that don't react to your attacks, I mean, there's countless games you can play like that. I play Tails because I like big punishes. I like actually engaging with the enemies and using the mechanics to its fullest. But if they really are, if the footage they've shown so far is basically confirming that you're just going to dodge really slow, easily reactable attacks over and over and over, and occasionally get a QTE that will allow you to hit them for a couple seconds, that's not the game for me. Yes, but Monster Hunter has stuff like parts breaking, and the enemies do still stagger. I just don't expect the Tales team, especially the people working on Tales now, the Mothership Tales games. I don't expect them to make like 40 Monster Hunter tier bosses. I really don't have faith in them doing that. I mean, yes, most bosses in Tales, when they did stagger, you could generally follow a very generic game plan and you could get through the game just fine. But I would prefer that over a bunch of bosses that aren't going to stagger into anything because there's way better games you can play if that's the kind of play style that you want. I don't have a lot of faith in them making like an RPG requires at least like 30 bosses pretty much. An RPG of the length of a Tales game requires a couple dozen bosses. I have zero faith that they can deliver bosses on par with other games that have those kinds of mechanics, like God Eater, Monster Hunter, Tokiden. Statistically, it's a very low chance that they will do that. I don't know. I might still buy it. I might let somebody else be the guinea pig this time. At the same time, I think my revenue from the channel is going to be considerably more than usual, so I might still get it. But I'm already telling people right now that I'm probably not going to make content for it. I don't get paid to play anything on here, so if I like the game, I'll drop it. If I don't like the game, I'll drop it. So far, it's not really giving me a lot of confidence. Even the hit stun on the regular enemies looks really janky. Well, I think I'm done for tonight. Let me see what's on Twitch right now. Let's see what's popping over there. I think I'm just gonna get some rest. It's been pretty busy, stressful day working on all this stuff. Let's see, where am I gonna go after I stop streaming? That's my question. Because I'll stream a little longer if nothing's on. Oh, Golden Axe just went on. Let's go ahead and watch him. He's doing some Streets 4 mods. I'll see you guys. I don't really have any new games to play right now. That's the thing. I'm just kind of just playing my usual stuff. Um, maybe I'll start East 9. I'll start going back to that. I think that'll be my next thing. Or either that or getting Fighter to 20 on New Genesis, 'cause that's the only class I like in that game. I think those are going to be my next two new projects. Arise, I'm not sure if I'm going to get it at this point. Normally, you can't really judge a Tales game on beginning gameplay, but everything they've shown, it seems like it's not going to be something I enjoy. We'll see, though. Let me go ahead and post my links again. Hold on. I got my sponsorship today. I'll have more information about that when I have it. Hopefully later today they tell me exactly what compensation I'll be getting. But there's that link, and then I'm really low on cash right now. If you guys want to support, there you go. I will see you guys maybe in the afternoon. I didn't want to do kitty sitting stream today because I was working on all the sponsorship stuff. But yeah, I'll try to do more house streams. Maybe less kitty sitting streams, more house streams, so I have better quality over here. I have more access to games and stuff. Boss hyper armor or random tech outs? I think they're both bad. Because in Zelia 1, it was actually not random when they teched out. It was just that it rendered a lot of the moves pointless because you couldn't even get through the whole animation without them ticking out. But the problem with Zelia 1 is it was a bad attempt at trying to prevent the player from doing combos, because if you ever watch that game played at a high level, it's easy. It's legit easier than actually learning the combo system and using the mechanics to the fullest, because you just set your mages to just cast, and you just have Jude, making them tech out, and you just put them in loops, and basically you're still comboing them. They're just not staggering, and that's kind of dumb. Random tech outs, in Samurai Warriors 5, it's like it doesn't make the game harder at all. It actually makes the game a little bit easier in some ways, because they take the full damage of your attacks, and it just doesn't serve any purpose. It's better when it's done like Streets 4 or Assault Spy or Battle for the Grid, where you have very specific rules on how the enemies stagger, what kinds of states you can put them in, and there's like a hard limit on how much you can stagger them. That actually works a lot better. But obviously, that's a lot harder to do than just, oh, we're just going to make them not stagger at all, or they're just going to get out of your combo at random and you're locked in an animation and you get hit, which nobody likes, casual or sweaty hardcore gamer alike. Nobody likes that feeling. But it's a lot easier to design, so that's why games are still designed with shit like that. Permanent hyper armor is not a bad thing if the game is designed around it. It's when you try to add it onto like age-old gameplay systems, like KOF All Star is a good example. That game at the beginning was a pretty legit beat 'em up. You could tag out at any time. There were lots of cool properties on moves like OTGs and restands and stuff, but then the end game content just kind of focused on permanent hyper armored enemies, and none of the properties matter anymore. None of that shit matters. All that effort they put into those characters, and all the effort that the player put into learning all those combos and stuff, it means nothing. When you design a game around it in its foundation, like while it's still being developed, it can be fine. But when you take something like the Tails battle system, which has always been designed around the enemy staggering and actually having, you know, properties around the moves and stuff, it just doesn't work. DMC and Bayonetta, those games have lots of hyper armored enemies, but you're given the tools to deal with it, and it never really feels like it limits you that much. But those games are exceptions. Those games are obviously really well designed, so they have a good balance between enemies that stagger and enemies that don't. And the characters in the games, the playable characters, have the tools to deal with those situations. But the problem with Tales of Arise so far is you have like whole aerial trees and stuff of moves that you can do, and a lot of them are either going to whiff or you're going to get hit out of it because they don't stagger, and that's shit game design, no matter how you slice it. Neo 2 has its fair share of bullshit too, but the thing about Neo 2 is everybody, to some extent, they follow the same rules that the player does. You have a stamina bar, and when you deplete it, you're defenseless, and all the enemies in the game follow that rule. Yes, there's bullshit, like a lot of the human bosses, like Toshimitsu and stuff, they just kind of get out of it sometimes. Neo 2 it's not immune to bullshit from hyper armor, but for the most part, it's very consistent. And like, when I was playing that game, I built my character around key damage, so I could stagger them really easily. I only had to get a couple punishes, and I could just kill them outright, and that was really satisfying. I liked having to fish for hits and do damage while they're in hyper armor, and then I could get a big combo. But most games are not that well designed. Generally, you're going to get shit like They just walk out of the combo at random, or they don't stagger at all. That's why there's such a big disconnect between stuff like DMC and like Assault Spy and Bayonetta, and games made by people who don't have that kind of experience in those games. They feel a lot worse, and that's one of the reasons for sure. The character is not responsive, or the enemies don't react consistently, which makes it feel like you're gambling instead of actually playing something that's supposed to be skill based. We'll see. I might still buy it. I'm gonna have more disposable income next month because I'll be getting paid from July. Um, I think I'm going to be getting at least $200 of revenue in July, from July in September, because I get paid on a bi-monthly cycle. Like this month, I got paid for June, and then next month I'll get paid for July. I will have the money to buy it. I just right now it really seems like the kind of game that I would probably rage quit. I hope that maybe I'll be proven wrong, but we'll see. I might still give it a chance, but I'm already going into it expecting disappointment. I was the same way with Samurai Warriors 5. Samurai Warriors 5, they didn't show any gameplay of that game at all. They showed barely any gameplay when they announced it, and that was a red flag for me, but then they quietly said that the game had clones, and I already lost most interest. I still had some fun playing it, but it just felt like a half-finished, just unpolished, unfun game to play. I feel like Arise is going to be the same way for me, but the problem with that is that it's a JRPG. I'm looking at least 30 to 50 hours playing it. That's just getting through the game. That's not counting post-game stuff, but I would not even do post-game if I don't like the core game mechanics. There's a chance it might open up later, but it's a very, very minuscule chance at this point. And I've been let down enough by long-standing franchises that I've been playing forever, like Muso games and DMC and and Tales and stuff. I've been let down enough in PSO2 as well. I've been let down enough to know that I can't just be blindly hyped for anything anymore. Blind hype culture for video games it can be pretty toxic sometimes because people set these lofty expectations and then they don't get met. The problem with Arise and Samurai Warriors 5 is that from the footage they showed, it was very obvious that the games are not very interesting mechanically, and they just don't feel polished. But like I said, the problem with these games in particular, a lot of the genres that I play, beat 'em ups, character action games, action RPGs, service games with action combat, is there's just like that not that many games to choose from. You get into the kinds of games that I play on here, you don't have a lot of really high quality choices. So it stings. There hasn't been a mainline Tales game in like 5 years. So it sucks that what they've shown so far, it doesn't really look like a good game. At least with Muso, Samurai Warriors 5 was a game I didn't really enjoy. I actively hated playing it most of the time. But at least, they turn out Muso games at least like twice a year. So, maybe another one that I like will come around. But with Tales, they've really slowed down. There hasn't been anything going on in Tales for a while, so we'll see. Yeah, there's a link if you want to support me. It's greatly needed right now. I'll see you guys probably around lunchtime after I have lunch at my neighbor's house. If I don't go to the game center tomorrow, we'll probably stream some East 9. Thanks for watching.